Joe Phantomaniacs, welcome to the end of a marathon of unboxings here. I just did 3 in a row, and this is the 4th and final for the day today. I'm very excited to have Tripwire in front of me from the G.I. Joe Classified series. It's not just Tripwire, though. It's also Apsara and McCloud. Deluxe figure, obviously, from the size of the box. Tripwire is just a cool figure, man. I liked when I was a kid. It's cool enough getting G.I. Joes with like guns and backpacks and all the stuff that they have, but I love the specialists. I love his mind detector and his mines, and like we'll do some comparison in a second, but I really liked this figure. No, he didn't have the most exciting specialty in the world unless things went wrong, I guess, but this is what made G.I. Joe great, is it wasn't just a bunch of green guys with guns, it was also green guys with mine detectors. Alright, so let's open up this green guy with a mine detector. We know what the boxes look like, I'm not gonna bother with that. And honestly, so I can't describe how I feel as Joe fatigue, because every single one of these releases is extremely exciting to me. Classified is one of my favorite action figure lines ever, for sure. And every single one that comes out, the excitement of not just getting them, but finding out how they have updated and adapted those figures and characters I grew up with is exciting. But there have just been so many releases, they don't stop coming. And I'm happy with that. But at the same time, I've just reviewed a lot of Joes lately. Okay, so let's get Tripwire out of here. We've got the plastic tabs that I'm not a fan of. Cut through those. I've got a cool grayscale art. I like that they went with this like tough guy Tripwire with his pistol rather than just having him detecting explosives. Like, I don't know, that's kind of funny to me. It doesn't seem appropriate to the character somehow. And it's great art, and it looks cool, and I don't have a problem with it per se. It just seems kind of weird. It's funny. They were like, okay, we got to make Tripwire look like a tough guy. Because he's well, look, somebody who goes out and finds explosives is a tough guy. All right, so manhandling his armor into place is going to be a part of this for sure. That one really doesn't want to move. I may leave it be, honestly, for now, because I don't want to bore you guys. Just know that these are separate pieces from the rest of the figure, and you can move them around, heat them up, do whatever you need to do. Well, there we go. Okay, that one just moved a little bit. Let's get that. Look at the... Okay, so these pants are interesting. I can't get that down, and I'm not going to sit here and heat it up because it's not critical to the review, but... Okay. First things first. Base figure Tripwire. Original Joe Tripwire. But there are options that we'll play around with here. But anyway, just as a base, color-wise, gloves, boots, everything looks good. You've even got the olive drab belt between his chest piece and his cod piece or whatever. So right out of the box, looking pretty good, and you can see where this one can be streamlined down to look like this one if you so desire. It is worth it to me, on the topic of deluxe figures, it's worth it to me to pay a deluxe price if I can achieve the original look or an updated look if I so desire. So check out on his pants here. So it's zoom time now. He's got a little pocket up here. He's got a pocket right here. Just interesting design for these, and I'm trying to think about where else we might see him. And also, he's thicker. He has a thickness to him that looks like a protective suit, and I really like that. I'm still trying to get this oriented the way I feel it should be. As I mentioned in my buzzer review, like, I'm not... They're a necessary, not evil, but these little pieces, they kind of drive me nuts. And I get it, and we would not get as many characters as we're getting if they didn't do them this way. But these things can be very frustrating. Just to get them where you want them positioned. All right. Well, that's going to have to do for now. So there you go. You can see the way his layers work. Right there. I don't know where these are supposed to sit. I'm going to leave them just where they are for now. But, man, he looks great. His thickness is what I'm really, really liking here. He does feel like he's protected and armored. You can see the detail, like look at the boots. The boots, they didn't go crazy over detailing them. They look very utilitarian, more like protective gear and less like combat gear, and I like that. You've got the armored tops here that are actually painted a different color. Look at the treads on these things. Now, they don't go underneath. I'm okay with that because this information can stay on the bottom of the foot forever. Don't ever put this up on the thigh or anywhere else. So we've got great looking treads from the side. Underneath, doesn't matter. I'm good with it. The gloves are also have that sort of plating type look like the original's gloves. Just tons and tons of detail here that looks awesome. And then his portrait, he looks a little haggard. Not low-light haggard, but the look on his face is a guy who knows he's about to be sent out to look for explosives. He looks like a man who is aware of his dangerous job. The paint looks fantastic. I like the hairstyle that they've given him. Just looks really, really good. He's unique and different. He's got the red marking up here on his shoulder that is... You can see it's a little more detailed, but that's pretty much what's on the original figure. He feels very solid. Oh, that elbow is moving nicely. A couple of good elbows on this guy. His legs are so thick. I don't know how well his knees are going to move. No, not bad. Not bad. That one's not wanting to go anywhere. Probably going to pop that boot off before I get that bottom joint to move. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so everything moves. And look, that's, as you can see, that's about to pop right off. But it is on there securely. It's not going to just fall off. But with pressure, you can see. But it's fine. It snaps into place. We're good. That is not an issue by any means. Man, I really like his design. I really like... So this is, again, an example of squint test, where this is clearly Tripwire, but they have plussed him up. Very happy with this so far. Let's take a look at the accessories, of which he has many. I find it interesting that they felt like they had to credit his robot and his rat on the packaging. It's neat, because it's a very, mutton junkyard type of thing. Man, this bag, this is the most packed bag I have seen in Classified. Usually, the accessories are like here, and this is all empty. This thing is full. I want to pop it. It's full of air. All right. Well, it's full of accessories, but there's a lot of air in it. Wow. Oh, man. This is exciting. Look at that loadout. Look at all that stuff. Oh, man. This, look. Look at this little guy. Got mines, got hoses, helmets, multiple helmets, collar. This is great. And look, no tape, just cardboard. Open it up. Cool updated design. This is exciting. You know, you say, well, why would you make Tripwire a deluxe figure? Because the potential is there. Dude. Oh my gosh. Okay, we got to go through this stuff one by one. I'm going to start with the rat. I threw the box away, so I already forgot the rat's name. Asperus something. I know it's a reference to something. So the rat looks great. Got a little harness on there. Lots of paint for a rat. Eyes, ears. It is as detailed as you might need a rat to be. I like that they didn't give it the stereotypical pink rat tail, because not all rats have the standout pink rat tail. And this can, I'm sure there are multiple ways in which this rat can be posed on your Tripwire if you so desire. Okay. Here's McCloud, the bomb-sniffing robot, so to speak. Got an articulated, swiveling arm. I've got some red paint there. So that probably folds. I don't know. I don't know how that's supposed to go. I'm not going to pose it. Oh my gosh, there's a little handle on this. Can he use this handle? So if this... Okay, hang on. Let me... Oh, man. So his whole hand can't go through it, and I kind of wonder why they didn't just make it a big enough handle for his hand. But... Oops, be careful with that. Yeah, you can't even get his fingers through, but he can carry it with one finger. You can hook a finger through that handle and have him carry this, sort of. But looks cool. The dots of paint on it are, you know, as much as, sure, customizers, people who like to add stuff to stuff, can paint those treads up, paint the wheels up, do all kinds of stuff to make this thing look really incredible. But for what it is, I'm pretty happy with it. It's cool. Black treads maybe would have been nice, but it looks cool. I like it. It's a nice addition. And if you don't like it, put it in a box, because you've got everything else you need for Tripwire in the rest of the accessories. You got a backpack, very reminiscent of Tripwire's original backpack. But with storage for his minesweeper? Mine detector? Whatever. But look at how similar the components are. That bottom portion, the top right up here, where the wire plugs in. It's great. This, just an updated version, looks good. Love the paint on it. I'll go ahead and put those two things together. So we've got one hose. This is probably the same hose that came with Dr. Mindbender, is my guess. I could be wrong, but probably not. So that plugs into the backpack, that plugs into the mine detector, and then you've got the option of securing this right on the side of the backpack there. Very nice. And that hopefully will plug securely into the figure, and it does. We've got a couple of mines that have paint on them. Look at that. Nice silver dab of paint right in the middle. So those go on the ground waiting to be stepped on. My assumption here is that this is the trigger, so these would be in the ground like that. I don't know how well this is. So is this just gonna... I wish there was some interaction. I wish they'd put like a hole here so this could like pick these up, because now you've got to do this. Well, it can't really pick them up at all. That's weird. Why can't this interact with these mines a little bit more? Or is it just in there to set them off and it's just going to get blown up? It doesn't seem like that would be the case. I don't know, maybe. Maybe that is the... so you send in your little rat here. Hey, robot! There's a mine over here. Come take care of this. Oh, robot. Oh, I'll be right there, ratty. All right, well, I'm out of here. Maybe that's what happens. We've just got a lot of these McCloud robots. Oh, and he can only hold... Ooh. I mean, it's fine, but also you've only got storage for one of the mines. The other one, there's just nothing to do with it. Huh. I don't love that. I'm a little surprised at it, to be honest. But these mines have been used before. These are the same ones that came with Firefly. But yeah, I don't... it's... Well, okay. So, it's unusual to have a classified figure with an accessory, or it's becoming more the norm, but there's nothing to do with. But this Tripwire already has a whole extra set of gear that you're going to have to store somewhere. So I'm a little more okay with having this extra thing, because you already have things you're going to have to figure out what to do with. Okay, so we know the backpack fits on there really nicely. And then you've got your two different collars. I'm going to try and figure out how these work without boring you guys by watching me figure out how they work. So that would seem maybe... But then you've got this big giant one. Oh man, that's really cool, actually. It's funny, as much as I disliked the Cobra... Or not disliked, I was not a fan of the Cobra Island Firefly. That cannot be how that goes on. That's got to be the back. Oh my gosh. No, that's... Okay. Right? Okay. I think we got something going on here. So we've got this big collar that I may or may not have on correctly. And then we've got this smaller collar that kind of goes under. Well, my first issue is I don't have this gear on entirely straight. And then that collar kind of goes up underneath, it seems. That doesn't seem right. But this also isn't going to seem right, because this is his sort of traditional helmet that doesn't even look like it's big enough for his head, but look at that. Totally is. Get that chin strap in place. That, I mean, that's the look I'm going for because I want to see that face. I like that. But I dig that it comes with all this extra heavy gear, however the heck it goes on. He does have a sidearm, which is a nice touch. And it does have a port for blast effects in the front. Looks good. Goes right in that holster there. And then, let's see, we've got to swap out. So here's the remote control for McLeod. Looks cool, one piece, no paint. It's fine. I like these little ports here in the bottom. And I wonder if it stores somewhere. It's looking like a no. Even if it's stored on the robot somewhere, that would be cool, but it doesn't seem to be the case. That's kind of surprising, to be honest. Because that notch looks like it should be something. But that spacing just does not work. Well, okay. So, sort of it does. I just managed to jam this in here. I do not think that's intentional. But kind of like with Firefly, it does happen to jam into place right there. I'd like for it to go the other way so the antennae aren't sticking out, but there's no way that, because it's just too sort of haphazard seeming, but it does jam in there. So if you want to do that, you can do that. That's kind of funny. Oh wait, I can't put his backpack back on because we have one more thing to do, and that is remove his bulkier, more detailed vest here. That's what's under it. Cool kind of flight suit looking thing. I like this piece. This looks cool, the belt. Probably a lot of reuse we're going to see with this piece, and I'm good with that. So let's get the other. So I guess. I wonder how well these are going to plug into place. I am never a fan of plastic trying to plug into plastic. It's always a little bit of a dodgy proposition as to how well it's going to work. Some toy makers handle it better than others. Oh, come on, get in there. All right, well, I'm not going to make you guys suffer through me getting it absolutely perfect. But, okay, so this is the bulkier option. This is the option that's meant to look more like his original look. This is the option that's more like a full-on, like, bomb disposal. Well, I've actually got I should have brought it out, but it's in a box somewhere. I've got a bomb disposal 1/6 scale G.I. Joe figure that is very much like this. So does this go? I know you guys are just laughing at me trying to figure out how these parts all go together. And they're probably pictured on the box, but the idea of actually stopping this to go look at the box at this point is why. You guys can have yourselves a laugh and enjoy my inability to position his PPE correctly. Something like that. So if you want a big, bulky bomb disposal guy, this is your look. But that's not going to be the one I'm going for. I'm going to be going for tough guy Tripwire with his pistol drawn. I'm just kidding. I'm not really. Excuse me, his blaster drawn. His pew. Oh, so why do people... This is a question I've got. I legit want an answer to this in the comments. People get really upset with Hasbro for calling rifles and pistols and whatever else blasters. And yet, the Joe community has been comfortably using the term pew or pews or whatever for years. I don't quite get that. Oh, look at that. Look at that tough guy. So explain that to me in the comments if you would. There you go. Tripwire. What a figure. What a review. I'm very happy with this guy. I'm going to play around with him some more, look at some different combinations of his gear and find what I'm happy with. And I'm not going to lie, it's probably going to end up being whatever's closest to his original look. But that's okay because we have the options on this one. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. And until next time, you rat. Squeak. Okay, so as happens from time to time, I've been messing around with Tripwire a little bit more. Pulled off the thigh armor, pulled off the shoulder armor because I wanted to see just how like the original I could get it. And in pulling that shoulder armor off, I discovered that his insignia is also printed on his jumpsuit underneath that shoulder armor. Which, by the way, I will say some of our connections are a little loose here, and I'm not a fan of this at all. You guys know how I feel about cut joints in general, but that's pretty heinous. And it's not even a smooth connection there, the way that it's done. But if you want something much closer, gosh, that's really ugly. I expect better than this from Classified. If you want a more traditional looking Tripwire, then there you go. It is absolutely achievable, although you're going to end up with some ugly aesthetics up on those arm joints. But other than that, pretty good. All right. There's my little add-in for that video.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.